Hello and welcome. Take a moment to settle in, because what we're about to explore can quietly reshape the way you experience connection, communication, and emotional well-being in your relationships. Many people assume that connection is built mainly through words, explanations, or visible effort. But in reality, the human mind responds far more deeply to emotional signals than to anything we say out loud. This becomes especially important in close personal moments, when emotions are more open and sensitivity is higher. In those moments, your presence matters more than your performance. The way you carry yourself, your tone, your pace, and your emotional steadiness all send signals that the other person feels, even if they cannot fully explain it. When someone feels calm, safe, and at ease around you, their body and mind begin to relax naturally. This is not something you force or create through pressure. It develops when your internal state is balanced and grounded. From a psychological and emotional health perspective, this is deeply connected to regulation of the nervous system. When your behavior is steady and your reactions are not driven by anxiety or the need for approval, you create an environment where both people can feel more secure. On the other hand, if your energy feels uncertain, rushed, or overly dependent on validation, it can introduce subtle stress into the interaction. Even without words, that tension can be felt. This is why emotional awareness is so important. It is not about controlling someone else's feelings, but about understanding your own state and how it influences the atmosphere around you. When you are calm within yourself, your communication becomes clearer, your presence becomes more reassuring, and your interactions become more meaningful. Silence, for example, no longer feels uncomfortable. Instead, it becomes a space where connection can deepen naturally. Another important aspect to understand is that people remember how they felt in your presence more than what was said. Emotional experiences leave a lasting imprint. If someone consistently feels respected, relaxed, and emotionally safe around you, that feeling becomes associated with you over time. This builds trust, which is one of the strongest foundations for any healthy relationship. However, this does not happen through occasional effort. Consistency plays a major role. Small repeated experiences of emotional stability and respect are what shape long-term perception. When your actions align with your words and your behavior remains steady across different situations, it creates a sense of predictability that the human mind finds comforting. That comfort allows deeper openness and reduces emotional guarding. At the same time, it's important to approach this with a healthy mindset. This is not about trying to impress or achieve a specific reaction. It is about showing up in a way that is genuine, self-aware, and emotionally balanced. When you focus on your own emotional health and presence, the quality of your connections improves naturally, without force or pressure. As we continue, keep this in mind. Meaningful connection grows from how people feel with you, not from how much you try to prove yourself. When your presence communicates calm, clarity, and respect, it creates a space where real connection can begin to form. As we go deeper, it helps to understand how consistency and emotional balance influence the way connections develop over time. A single positive moment can create interest, but it is the pattern of your behavior that determines whether that interest grows into something more meaningful. When someone experiences you as steady, respectful, and emotionally grounded again and again, their mind begins to relax in your presence. This sense of ease is not accidental. It is a natural response to predictability that feels safe rather than limiting. From a health perspective, this kind of emotional consistency reduces stress for both people involved. The brain is constantly looking for patterns to decide whether an environment is secure or uncertain. When your behavior shifts too much, becoming overly attentive one moment and distant the next, it can create confusion. Even if unintentional, this inconsistency can lead to emotional tension. Over time, that tension may cause the other person to hold back, protecting themselves from uncertainty. In contrast, when your actions are aligned and your responses are balanced, it creates a steady emotional rhythm. This rhythm allows the other person to be more open and present, without feeling the need to analyze or question every interaction. Emotional safety grows in these conditions, and with it, a deeper level of trust. Trust is not built through intensity or grand gestures, but through repeated experiences that feel reliable and genuine. Another important element is learning to be comfortable within yourself, especially in moments where there is no need to prove anything. When you are internally secure, you do not rely on constant feedback or reassurance to feel stable. This reduces pressure in the interaction and allows the other person to feel more at ease as well. In psychological terms, this reflects a regulated emotional state, where your reactions are not driven by fear or overthinking. Silence also plays a meaningful role here. Many people feel the urge to fill every pause with words, thinking it will maintain connection. But in reality, calm and comfortable silence can signal confidence and emotional balance. It shows that you are not anxious about the interaction losing momentum. This creates space for natural feelings to surface, making the connection feel more authentic rather than forced. It is also helpful to remember that emotional experiences do not end when the moment passes. The mind tends to revisit interactions that felt different or meaningful. If someone consistently feels calm, respected, and emotionally clear around you, that memory becomes a reference point. Without even realizing it, they may compare future interactions to that feeling. This is how a lasting impression forms, not through effort to impress, but through the quality of the emotional experience itself. At the same time, it is important to stay grounded in reality. Human connection is complex, and no approach can guarantee a specific outcome. The goal is not to control how someone thinks or feels, but to create a healthy environment where genuine connection can grow. When you focus on emotional awareness, self-control, and authenticity, your interactions become more natural and less pressured. As you reflect on this, consider how you show up in everyday moments, not just the important ones. Small actions, consistent behavior, and a calm presence all contribute to how others experience you over time. These subtle patterns often have a stronger impact than anything dramatic or short-lived. Now let's bring everything together in a way that you can gently apply in your daily life. Real change does not come from understanding ideas alone, but from practicing them in small, consistent ways. The people who create strong, healthy connections are not the ones trying the hardest to impress. They are the ones who remain steady in who they are, regardless of the situation. This steadiness is built through self-awareness, emotional regulation, and the ability to stay present without being overwhelmed by pressure or expectation. When you enter a meaningful interaction, your role is not to perform or to seek approval. Instead, focus on being fully present, aware of your thoughts, your breathing, and your emotional state. When your mind is not caught in overthinking or insecurity, your energy naturally becomes more stable. This stability is something others can feel. It creates a sense of ease that allows both people to relax and engage more openly. It is also important to recognize how your internal state affects your external behavior. If you carry tension, fear of rejection, or a need to prove your worth, it often shows up in subtle ways such as tone of voice, body language, or pacing. These signals can create pressure in the interaction, even if your words seem right. On the other hand, when you feel calm and secure within yourself, your behavior reflects clarity and confidence without effort. This creates a more comfortable and supportive environment for connection. From a health and well-being perspective, this approach supports emotional balance for both individuals. It reduces unnecessary stress, encourages honest communication, and promotes a sense of psychological safety. When people feel safe, they are more likely to express themselves naturally, leading to deeper and more meaningful relationships over time. Another key point is to let go of the need to control outcomes. You cannot force connection or guarantee how someone will feel. What you can do is show up in a way that is genuine, respectful, and emotionally balanced. When you release the pressure to control the result, you free yourself to focus on the quality of the moment. This not only improves your interactions, but also supports your own mental well-being by reducing anxiety and overthinking. Remember that what truly stays with people is not every word or detail, but the emotional experience they had with you. If that experience consistently feels calm, respectful, and real, it leaves a lasting impression. Over time, this becomes the foundation of trust and deeper connection. As you move forward, try to practice small habits that support this kind of presence. Take a moment to pause before responding, listen fully without planning your next words, and allow natural silence without rushing to fill it. Pay attention to how you feel internally and gently guide yourself back to a calm and centered state when needed. These simple actions, repeated over time, can create a powerful shift in how you connect with others. In the end, meaningful relationships are built on emotional clarity, consistency, and genuine presence. When you take care of your own emotional health and show up with balance and awareness, you naturally create space for stronger, healthier connections to grow.